10 facts about the Leopard 2 tank. 10. Tank description. The Leopard 2 is a German main battle tank, the successor to the Leopard 1. The Leopard 2 was the first mass-produced Western tank, which was classified as the so-called post-war third generation. In 1979, the tank was accepted into the service of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Germany. Its almost contemporary, the American M1 Abrams main battle tank, was adopted by the US Army 1 year later in 1980. Only the Soviet T-80B tank, which is now also included in this generation, entered service a year later in 1978. 9. History of creation. Development work was initially carried out jointly with the United States. However, the paths of the cooperating parties diverged and each country eventually developed its own tank. Germany Leopard 2, the United States Abrams. The first Leopard 2 prototype looked completely different. The turret developed by Wegmann had a sharp shape, tapering wedge-shaped towards the front. As a result, the name Spitzmaus shrew quickly stuck to the tower. The hull shapes were also different. The next prototype, the Leopard 2 AV, had improved basic armor that used special shields. The turrets received a very characteristic, now well-known, box shape, thanks to the use of vertical armor plates. 8. A Leopard 2 A4. For over 40 years of service, the Leopard 2 has undergone many modifications and development versions, from A0 to currently A7 and A7 Plus, differing in armor, equipment and quality of key components, such as fire control and communication systems. The most produced version of the tank was the Leopard 2 A4. Only from December 1985 to March 1992, a total of 695 units of new vehicles were produced. In addition, all older versions of the Leopard 2 tanks were modernized to the A4 standard. The main difference with the machines of earlier versions was the introduction of digital ballistic computers instead of the analog switches used so far. 7. Leopard 2 PSO. In 2006, the Krauss-Maffei-Wegmann concern presented a heavily modified vehicle designed as the Leopard 2 PSO. The changes introduced concern primarily the strengthening of the all-round shield, but also the improvement of the situational awareness of the vehicle crew. The tank's hull and turret, taken from the Leopard 2A5 version, those with a short 44 caliber gun, also received side armor modules that also protected the tank's turret niche. An additional armor plate, known from the Leopard 2A6M tank, was also used, strengthening the bottom of the self-supporting body. At the front of the hull there is also a ploughshare. At the back there is a telephone for communication with the infantry located behind the rear of the vehicle. 6. Leopard 2A7. The first Leopard 2A7 was received by the German army only in 2014. Combat weight of this version increased to about 64 tons. The key changes that characterize the tank in the Leopard 2A7 variant are the use of a modern IFIS battlefield management system, as well as the use of the new armor including wolfram, titanium and ceramics. The change visible from the outside is the use of a new cannon with a longer barrel. This allows for a higher pressure of the powder gases and thus a higher muzzle velocity of the bullets, which in the case of armor-piercing bullets has a direct impact on a penetration. The cannon has also been adapted to fire programmable ammunition. 5. Polish Leopards. Poland has a total of 247 machines, Leopard 2A4 and slightly newer Leopard 2A5 versions. In 2015, a contract was signed for the modernization of 128 Leopard 2A4 tanks used by the Polish Armed Forces. The modernization includes increasing the protection of the turret, modifying the cannon, which will be able to fire more modern ammunition, as well as modernizing their armament stabilization system. The fire control control and communication system will also be modernized. In May 2020, the land forces received the first modernized vehicles. The entire process of upgrading the Leopard 2A4s to the Leopard 2PL standard is to be completed in 2023, although this may be delayed. 4. Combat debut of the Leopard 2. In 2016, the Turkish army, which after entering the territory of the so-called Islamic State and areas inhabited by Kurds, began to suffer heavy losses in armored weapons. The solution was to throw into battle the best tanks that Turkey had at its disposal. During the fighting near Albab, the fighters destroyed at least 10 Leopard 2s. Turkish Leopards were characterized by the fact that their turrets blew up, similar to the Russian tanks in Ukraine. The tanks fell victim to, most likely, older models of Russian anti-tank guided missiles, designed in the 1970s, such as the Fagot and the heavier Concourse. 3. Leopard 2 successor. In 2015, studies began on the development of the Leopard 2 successor project, carried out by Germany in cooperation with France. An agreement was signed creating a joint venture with equal division between the German KMW and the French Nexter Systems. The combination of manufacturers marked the beginning of development of the new Main Ground Combat System main battle tank, the successor to the Leopard 2 and Leclerc tanks. It is estimated that the first unit will roll off the assembly line in 2035 and enter service in 2038. Meanwhile, at Eurosatory 2018, KNDS unveiled the European Main Battle Tank (EMBT), a hybrid that combines the Leopard 2A7 hull with a lighter two-man Leclerc turret. In 2022, another demonstrator of the tank of the future was presented. It has a completely new turret, and the chassis is based on the Leopard 2 design, the second potential successor to the Leopard 2, although it is not a tank created for the needs of the Bundeswehr. KF-51 Panther developed bottom-up on the initiative of Rheinmetall Land System A. This modern tank was presented for the first time during the Eurosatory 2022 Defense Show. 2. Current users. The current list of users of Leopard 2 in various versions looks impressive. The tank is used by the armed forces of 19 countries, such as Poland, Germany, Austria, Denmark, Finland, Greece, Spain, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Switzerland, Sweden, Turkey and Hungary, and in more distant corners of the world by the armies of Chile, Indonesia, Canada, Qatar and Singapore. 1. Technical description. The weight of the tank is from 55 tons, Leopard 2A4, to as much as 65 tons in the Leopard 2A7V version. It is powered by a 47-liter, 12-cylinder MTU diesel engine with 1500 horsepower, and the main armament is a 120mm Rheinmetall RH120 smoothbore cannon. The maximum speed is 72 km per hour and off-road 56 km per hour. The range of the tank on the road is up to 550 km. The length of the tank is 9.6 meters, while the hull itself is 7.7 meters. The vehicle does not have an automatic loader, so the tank's crew consists of 4 people.